Something super scary happened to my kids and I at Costco, and I just want to tell you to raise awareness and just so that you can, if you're a mom or if you're a woman, unfortunately, we all know that we have to stay on our P's and Q's more so than men do, unfortunately. And so this is just a reminder to really pay attention to your surroundings. So at the time, my kids were just under 2 and 3. And we were at Costco. We finished shopping. The cart was full. My kids were both in the top little area for them to sit down in. And we were walking out. And of course, after we walked out, I realized I, of course, did not grind the coffee. And as I'm like walking out, I see this guy that I just had this like not good feeling about. And he was looking at me and looking at my kids. I have a boy and a girl. He was looking at them and looking at me, and I didn't like the way he did. But at that time, I was realizing, crap, I forgot to grind my coffee. So I said it out loud and then turned around, and when he heard me say that, he slowed down. He was walking into Costco. I turned around, he slowed down to walk by us, and then he went into the entrance and we went into the exit. And I told them that I needed to grind my coffee. Well, the coffee grinder is right by the concession stand, and there's like all the little picnic tables for people to eat at. And he literally went into the entrance, went around, came and sat at a picnic table facing us and staring at us, like balls to the wall, staring at me in the face, and then staring at my kids. And when he would look at my kids, he had like this smirk on his face. Oh, it makes me so angry just thinking about it. So I'm like grinding the coffee, keeping my eyes on this guy, and like I'm like, stare at me, dude. I'm watching you. Like letting him know with every inch of me that I am like watching him like a hawk. And did not care. This is the middle of the day. There are people everywhere. He did not care. Staring me straight into the eyes, looking at my kids, and then would look back at me like, And, my blood was boiling. And the whole time I'm like planning in my head. And the whole time I have to say, like, there are grandparents sitting at little picnic tables asking me about my kids. My kids are close in age. So they're like, oh my gosh, are they twins? And I'd like look at them and talk to them and then look back at the guy like, I see you. I'm not too distracted to be paying attention to you. So anyway, I'm going back and forth talking to them and then watching this guy. And the whole time in my head, I'm like, okay, this guy probably has a GUN. If he's loaded, I don't care. Mama Bear is here to take him down. And I was like going through the whole scenario in my head and like, okay, I'm gonna call my husband as I'm walking out. And I was like, no, I'll look too distracted and vulnerable if I'm on my phone. And so anyway, of course, the coffee bags at Costco are massive, so it takes forever for the coffee to grind. And so I'm like going through all of this for a long time. And then I finally finish grinding the coffee, pack it up, and then start pushing my kids. He jumps up from the picnic table. I look back to see what he's doing and if he's following us. And of course he is. He walks straight around over to my shopping cart, standing right by my daughter, who is sitting in the thing, and then my son is sitting in the other side. He walks straight over right beside her, and I look at him as loud as I can, and I say, what the heck are you doing? Like, loud. My kids are napping, so I'm not going to get that loud. And he looked at me, and his eyes got big, and I said, leave now. And I'm like yelling it. And he just like kept staring at me with his eyes big. And I was like, get away from me now. And he just looked at me and goes, okay, whispered, okay. And then like walked off. And as soon as that happened, this man that was like massive, he stood up and he's like, ma'am, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not. And then these two other couples that were like grandparents age, elderly couples, that had been talking to me the whole time about my kids, the men were like, come here now. And one of them was like, I was watching him watch you guys, and I did not like it. I've got daughters, I've got granddaughters, And I was very uncomfortable with how he was watching you guys. He was like, please let me walk you out to the car. And I was like, no, that's okay. I'm going to get a Costco guy to walk me out. And he was like, no, I'm walking you to your car. And he said that I'm so angry right now. And so he stood up, and he, of course, was this tall man. And I was like, okay, all right. And then as we're walking out, he's like, by the way, I'm your dad. What's your name? He's like, I'm Bill or whatever. And anyway, he walked me out to the car and helped me load the kids, but he kept his eyes peeled to make sure that that guy was not watching us get in our car or anywhere around. But I was so angry, like just so angry. I know what like could have happened. He was probably planning on like going out to the car with me. He got close enough, and my guess is he probably had something he was going to put up against my back and help walk us out to where he wanted us to walk out. He didn't know this little girl is from Alabama. She was ready to go. I am a mama bear when my kids are around. You ain't messing with them. I don't care what you have or what you're coming with. You haven't met me. I scared him. He wasn't expecting, you could tell he was expecting a passive woman. He was expecting a vulnerable, like busy, distracted mom. So if you are a mom, please do not be too distracted when you are out with your kids. Always keep your eyes peeled and be bold. Scare the crap out of these men. If they come up to you and do anything that makes you or your kids uncomfortable, get loud. And that's exactly what I did. I scared him. You could tell all over his face, he was not expecting me to get loud and ghetto. And he knew he messed with the wrong girl. And so this is my reminder. Keep your eyes peeled. You get loud. Don't ever be passive when someone is making you uncomfortable. You get loud and make them uncomfortable. So anyway, that's my story time from Costco.